This is one of my favorite topics, states raising revenue. Lagos State is about to have a summit later this month, the Eco Revenue Plus Summit, which is going to be aimed at reshaping revenue generation in Lagos State. If we take a look at some of the areas of concentration for the ERPS, which is the Eco Revenue Plus Summit: informal sector, circular economy, digital economy, property sector, and energy. I've been obsessed with energy now for quite a while. So let's speak to our guest now about the summit. Opeyemi Ogungbo. He's a special advisor to the Lagos State Governor on taxation and revenue. The money man. Tell us about this summit. What's going to happen here? You're looking to raise money?
Yeah, actually the summit is another innovation to bring various stakeholders together and to ensure that especially the perception of the ultimate beneficiaries of when you pay your bills in terms of revenue, that's the payers, citizens, understand the perception around even this revenue generation. So the summit is bringing stakeholders together like investors, technical partners, banks, and even the MDAs that comes up with policies, directions for the state. So it's an opportunity for us to come together and come with ideas that will be followed through afterward.
What would differentiate this summit from others?
Number one is, like I said, just immediately, this summit is going to have this, it's touching digital economy, property sector, informal sector, and all that. After the summit, we're going to come up with a deal book, which we're going to collectively now buy the MDAs. MDAs, through the approval of Mr. Governor, we're going to create a desk to see through this one this time around, so that beyond just talk show, we have a dedicated team and desk that follow the conclusions and initiative that comes out of the summit.
Well, we covered technology quite a bit on this show. I'm very obsessed with tech. I feel technology is the future. And Lagos State has, practiced that in terms of paying taxes and so on and so forth. How does the summit plan to harness innovation and technology without imposing more taxes?
More tax, yes. Yeah. So we sat and felt that one of the things that you can do to the citizens is to simplify the way they interact with government. Yeah. So how do they interact? One, we launched a product called Lagos Revenue Portal, which aims at bringing all bills that are generated. So the era of I'm not seeing my bill at the comfort of my homes are over, because any bills generated in any of the MDAs in Lagos State, you can see that on your own platform, which is through a self-service.
When we looked at the areas of concentration there, energy is on that list. There's also, of course, been a lot of talk about energy. What are Lagos State's plans in that, as far as that sector is concerned, and the role that private sector will play there?
So with regards to energy, why we're bringing it onto this conversation is energy, like is light, is power. It is aimed at energizing the environment so that the business environment, creating employment, creating opportunities can be energized. And what do you expect? So currently we're going to the phase of legislation and so that when you have a standard legislation in place, it creates conducive business environment so that even the investors can come in but ultimately, the purpose is to generate indirect revenue. What that means is that you're not using that energy to, generate more revenue, rather, but creating an environment that will now invariably create indirect revenue. Because by the time you create jobs, SMEs will grow, various companies will expand in their capacity and the likes. So that is the aim of bringing energy into this conversation.
How is this summit going to explore the real estate sector? And again, just like I said in my prior question on not having to impose more taxes, expanding it and bringing more investment there.
Okay, basically, if you identify, Lagos State sits on a very small land mass in the country. And what that means is that one of our oil or reliable revenue should have been a property, which is our landed property and co. So we have a system in place where, we can't talk enough. We have what we have call urban development, EGIS,
yes,
that we have established to actually do digital enumeration of properties. So we are going to be looking at the property value chain. What that means is that property value chain is going to be managed, and we're going to be talking a lot about that. We're also going to be looking at area like a regeneration of areas. Maybe have areas that you want to regenerate in a manner that you have a PPP understanding, that you can grow it, and it can, imagine that we have about 500,000 housing units being developed.
Right.
So you can feel what that will mean to the economy of Lagos and the surroundings. So a lot will be happening on that day within the property realtors and all that will be coming to give their own advice on what needs to be done, especially where the policymakers are seated, and they'll be telling us their frustration. But the essence of this office is to ensure that you are able to bridge the gap of the public and the government, so that we can really meet the obligations in which Mr. Governor is voted to have.
The circular economy, that's another one that's been gaining traction. Tell us how Lagos State also wants to make its plans there in terms of boosting that sector.
The management of waste to wealth, carbon credits and all that will be an advantage for companies who want to get credits, green smart city and all that. Is all interwoven. So it's an opportunity for us to discuss it and open up areas for those that have not been tapped into, maybe due to one policy or the other. So it's an opportunity and a venue for us to really discuss it, and so that we can really make our state a green state, and a state that is world recognized as we used to.
I did see the informal economy is on the list there, and I know that there's always been talk about trying to formalize the informal economy and so on and so forth. Well, what's your view on how that progresses over time?
So we are continuously working around informal sector to ensure that a lot of people, and again, the dichotomy between those that are really, really informal and those that are maybe at the bottom of the ladder. So we are mistaking it all the time. We take those at the bottom of the ladder to be the only informal business. So we have big players that have eaten somehow under the informal sector that are not really, really fulfilling their obligation. So with this innovation initiatives that we're bringing aboard, efficiency and other, we're going to encourage them to come on board and pay their, because it's moral, it's civil, it's social responsibility for them to you cannot be in the system and not willing to support that system. So that's what we're doing. So we have a high on informal sector to ensure that without necessarily stressing those people at the bottom of the pyramid, but rather those in the informal business that need to come into the formal world so that they can be captured.
Yeah, will we have more ERPS summits in the future in coming years?
Yes, so this is 1.0, so obviously
there'll be 2.0 as well.
Yes.
Mr. Abdul Kabir Opeyemi Ogungbo, State Advisor to the Governor, Special Advisor, of course, on taxation and revenue. Thank you so much for a great conversation on Lagos State. Appreciate your time.